What's going on, y'all? How y'all doing? Welcome to my channel, Watch Your Mouth Reviews. This is your boy James, where I am here to give my honest review while trying to watch my mouth. And that's not going to happen in this video, but that's okay. I'll live to fight another day. Joining me as always is my co-host, Mrs. Beth. Y'all say what's up to her.
What's poppin'? I'm happy to be here. I hope that everybody likes the video, subscribes, feel free to comment. I will be off camera this video. We're having bad weather in the Bay Area and my power keep going in and out. So count your days, PG&E.
Yes, count your days. Can't wait till we move to the DMV area. DMV area. That's how I say DMV area. What up, Shady? Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. My homegirl always first. Say what's up to Kevin Reynolds, y'all. He done made it into my live. I appreciate you, Kevin Reynolds. I got to catch up on my
Kevin, you
DMs.
made my morning. I was Kevin made my morning. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yes, he got my DMs flooded, but I love it though. I love when you guys DM me things because that keeps me on top of everything. Um, so I'm gonna say this because this is Real Housewives of Potomac, season 1, episode 2 is chin checked. Y'all, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I get that over the weekend we broke the story with everyone else about Wendy and her situation. So we're going to, for the sake of the show, because on Watch What Happens Live, Andy did not ask Ashley anything about it. And later on his radio show, he said that that was actually pre-recorded before Wendy and Eddie got arrested. So there was no need to mention it. Andy has responded. Pretty much all of the Potomac ladies have responded to what's going on. But in this video particularly, we're not going to talk about it. We're just going to act like it's not here. So I'm going to everything objectively as if Wendy has not done anything. And so,
That's the right thing to do. I respect that, especially as a YouTuber, and that's the harder thing to do because a lot of people, from what I've seen online from YouTubers and the audience, are struggling to separate what we see on this season from her ongoing case. And they're two different things. So hopefully people can understand that.
yeah, absolutely. And to be honest, I still like Wendy. This was a horrible thing she's been accused of doing, but at the end of the day, I do like her, and I feel like there are people in the Bravo land that have done worse than what she's done. So I'm just kind of like, I'm here with this. So this episode, we're gonna act like that's not going on right now. So the episode actually opens up with this continuous argument between Stacy and Ashley. And Stacy was like, "You're a liar and you're this, I did that." And Stacy said, "You better get that finger out my face. Get that finger out my face. You're the devil, Ashley." Ashley, "I don't care. You lie." So AJ, who is Stacy's friend, pipes up and he goes, "Okay, look, this is ridiculous. Y'all are going back and forth. We were at this event. What can Stacy do to prove to you, that everything is good? Because she's not with that guy anymore. She's with her husband. And what can we do? Does she show you her divorce degree?" And Ashley goes, "Yeah, she could do that. She could do that, and I'll let this go." And Stacy just drinking her champagne, rolling her eyes, and I would have too, because this is stupid. I got to tell you my business in order for you to let something go just because someone showed you something that who has yet to put it out in the media. And I'm gonna say this, y'all, about this whole Stacy and TJ situation. I'm gonna let this shit go. I don't care. I don't care if she paid him. I don't care if she didn't pay him. Right now, until TJ comes over and shows us the lawsuit he filed, or if somebody in YouTube world or blog world can show the receipts of TJ filing a lawsuit, then I will believe that she paid him. But for now, I'm going to believe Stacy because no one can prove these receipts exist. So I believe Stacy in this instance. Sorry, not sorry. You are innocent until proven guilty. And can I believe it? Yeah. Absolutely. I'm not saying that she didn't do it, but I'm just saying I need receipts. I need written agreements because this is ridiculous. I know Ashley said on Watch What Happens Live that she saw the documents, and even in the documents, he had what she made, which is not something that's public record. And I'm like, Ashley, he didn't put it out. Until he puts it out, oh well, I don't believe him. So, Mrs. Best, um, I have to ask you, how did you feel about Stacy and Ashley's interaction?
Um I'm so sorry, you guys. I just yawned. Um, Here's the thing. Ashley getting on my nerves. Her and that five hit. The problem, something you said that really resonated and that I really agree with is this. It don't matter whether we believe Stacey or not. There's been no proof of nothing. Everything has been he said, she say, hearsay, word of mouth, whatever the hell you want to call it. It's all been a bunch of gossip, rumors, because nothing has been substantiated. I think the one thing that everybody can agree on is Stacey has lied. But again, the stuff that Stacey has lied about to me is not a big deal. Now, I don't think we're ever going to know or get a receipt about Stacey lying. I also am a firm believer in birds of a feather flock together. Y'all hear me say that all the time. So if she was kicking it with TJ and it let's say this did happen, they're both liars. And if it didn't happen, they're both liars. They both admitted to entertaining each other to some extent for reasons that are not normal. But it really doesn't matter if Stacey's lying or not. And I'll be goddamned if I have to show my divorce decree or anything like that just to get you to believe me. So what if Stacey did lie about her divorce? So what? Ashley, can you explain to us why yours took 700 years? Like, we don't care. So I feel like they're just trying to pick on Stacey because they saw last season when it ended, the audience, we weren't feeling Stacey because it was clear that she does lie and she be bullshitting. But fast forward to this season, just because the audience doesn't like someone doesn't mean that we want to see them ganged up on for no apparent reason. Cause Stacey, the way she is, if these ladies were less desperate for a storyline, Stacey would do and say shit that they would have an opportunity to call out. But instead, they waited to see how we responded as an audience, and now they're trying to gang up on her. And I'm not here for it. I don't care. I just don't. Giselle's lie was worse about the man. She was playing with her underage kids at the time. Why nobody spoke on that? I don't understand it. Or the lie that Giselle told against Chris, Candace's husband, that caused him to actually lose his employment. So I'm just looking at this lie like, okay, and who cares if she gets back with her ex-husband?
That's what I'm saying.
People
I'm
do it
like,
all the time. Why is that like a thing that makes you not trust somebody? And even if it is, why at you are you at your own event pressed about the next bitch business?
such a shame. It's crazy, I tell you. I've never seen such craziness in all my life. So, the next thing we see is we have a continuation also with Wendy and Kiarna. And Kiarna is, pleading with Wendy, saying that it felt dismissive that, in situations you don't acknowledge me when we're out in events and everything. And I'm just tired of hearing about this because this is also something that just really made me irritated with Kiarna. Um, Angel pops in and she says, I just think it's really a miscommunication. And I agree. I think it's also a miscommunication. I think that Kiana doesn't understand maybe moments of like, okay, it might not be appropriate if I'm sitting on a stage to wave at you because there may be situations and cameras and they probably are not going to know, hey, I'm waving at my friend who's sitting over there at table number 7, in the gown. They're probably not going to understand that. So that's why it's like, okay, you got to know placement. Wendy's a commentator. She knows how to do this. That's why I'm like, I think it really was a miscommunication. But they are making progress, according to Kay, because Wendy has apologized. Because Wendy says, I think we see friendship differently. And sometimes that does happen too. People see friendship differently in relationships. So I think that that's also a key element as well. But it was really stupid because this is grasping at straws, Kiana. This really is. This is not that big of a deal. Like, you dragged this on way too much throughout this episode. How did you feel about Kiana and Wendy?
Kierna is and this is where I'm glad that we're separating what's going on in the tabloids and pop culture bullcrap because Kiarna's reaching. Kiarna is freaking reaching. She's looking for a problem. I think producers were like, listen, fans were disappointed in you. You're not really showing us too much. And maybe they got at Kiarna and was like, you need to give more. But then on the other side, it seems like they keep referencing scenes like filmed in Kiarna's med spa and stuff. They're not making the cut, it seems like, because they always show like that they were there. whatever it is, Kiarna needs to go back to being a friend of, and there's nothing wrong with that. I just think that we know reality TV is not fully reality, but we also know that is there's still certain pieces of it that are authentic and that comes in the people. Some people have a star factor, like Karen. Karen doesn't do much, hasn't really given shit on this show ever, but survives because she does have an it factor and you can be entertained by her. Kiarna does not have that. And to come for Wendy, your one friend on this cast for something so stupid, I just don't understand it. I just can't.
Mhm. I would never understand it. I'm gonna address some of these comments because I don't want to get too behind. So I'm gonna start here with Shandy's comment. Ashley, your back and forth relationship with Michael is extremely questionable. Very much so. I rather Stacy who lies, which does not harm others, versus Mia who lied on her own family. Mia did a lot of dangerous ass shit that I felt like throughout her time on Real Housewives of Potomac, the producers really let her get away with a lot of shit.
Mia is just the Kim Zolciak of color. That's how I literally view her. Because
That's a,
remember, Kim came on lying about having cancer and all that. Then
yep.
Mia's first season, she was bullshitting about the cancer thing, and we never really got proof. And they should have got rid of her at that point. But Bravo don't care. They care for
That's why I
ratings.
say, yeah, that was the probably the biggest example. I'm not saying she lied. I think she did have a health scare, but she milked the fuck out of it. And I think that that's where we kind of like, okay, that's not something you should play with. That's my opinion on Mia. So I agree with you, Shani, or not Shani, who is it? Kevin Reynolds. Sorry, Kevin Reynolds. Yeah, I agree with you. Go ask Robin for her marriage license and make sure it's stamped. Oh, we're gonna get to that because that shit pissed me off as well. I think the ladies are bullying Stacey because they see Stacey as the favorite. That's my thought. Yeah, I think people resonate with Stacey because Stacey is a character. She is, but she's fun. And I think Stacey represents that element of a black woman who could still be lighthearted and fun and have great energy and not be so triggered or not be so, I think that that's why people love Stacey so much because she is really light on the show compared to several of the other women. So I think that that's why people really enjoy her. And I like her too. I like Stacey. And so far, I am Team Stacey this season. So far, she can always turn it around for me. But so far, I'm Team Stacey. I really am. She's so far my favorite. Jizzy G few seasons ago, didn't you get back together with your ex-husband? Um, in that circumstance, pot and kettle. Because Giselle had no room. That's why I was pissed at Giselle. Because I said, Giselle, you have no room to call this lady out for lying about a relationship, ma'am. So yeah. Kay is annoying. She really is. Like, I'm sorry, this whole episode did not do her any favors. Kiana, you are not her daughter in the school. Play for her to be waving at you on. I just don't understand the logic of that. Maybe someone can explain to me.
Tiana is one of those friends. Like I've had girlfriends like this. These are the girlfriends, like I'm cool with them, but I don't really do much with them outside of like maybe go to a rooftop lounge, a club if I'm younger, like stuff like that. Kiana is that friend that don't have kids, that doesn't have kids, and probably struggles with men because I think she's too self-absorbed personally. It just gives the way that she acts an expectation, like you said, like why would you expect your friend to wave at you on stage? I've gone to events where friends have gotten awards, like friends are doing things. And never have I expected them to like even make eye contact with me, let alone wave from the stage. Kiana's expectations for her friendships are unrealistic. And it's unfortunate because just because you're not as booked and busy or as educated, don't have the kids, don't have the husband, doesn't mean you shouldn't be able to have empathy and understand that someone just may not be able to get to you. Not everybody has this huge army of people behind them. So I just think Kay is a little bit self centered. I also think she's just trying to keep her spot on the show. She's going to drain us this season.
I agree. 100% finna drain the hell out of us. Yeah, Kay was better as a friend. Incredibly boring last season. Not so much this season thus far. You know what saved? You know what Bravo really they've invested in Kay is because of that fight. I think that they were pulling the Mariah and Toya situation of it all, where the fight was so entertaining for us fans because we heard of it through, TMZ and everything and all the other social media outlets that this fight has happened. So I think they really banked on her being a firecracker, but realistically in everyday life, that's not really her. That's just something that had to be brought out of her. There's a difference. And I think Bravo needs a human relations division in their camp because this is constantly happening and they're picking people who are not entertaining or not don't have entertainment in them. They may be great business people, they may be great elements of, pillars in the community, but when it comes to reality TV, they are not stars and they need to realize that about Kiana and a couple of other ones, Giselle, but I like Stacey too. I think she could be funny. She's hilarious to me. I'm sorry, she is. Yes, that was a good analogy. I do agree. Ashley, how many times did you and Michael break up and get back together? I
Ashley
mean,
should have never married Michael in the first place. She need to figure out why, at her young age, she was more willing to marry somebody for the dollar and not see the predator that he was. I said what I said. Ashley is the one person who's not being called out enough on this damn cast. And I'm like, Bravo, I get why they keep her, but they know nobody like her. So if y'all gonna keep this big-headed, faux-headed bitch here, then can you at least hire somebody on the cast like Katie who can get Ashley back in her place? Please.
yes, bring somebody back. I don't care who it is at this point. I'm going to mention this later, Shani, because I agree with this comment. Um, Stacy and Ashley joined the girls, and as Wendy tries to collect them back into that, and also try to get to know the new girls. And Ashley's like, Stacy just be lying. She said, "And Kate, didn't you say that Stacy, will never break character and everything?" And Stacy walks over and says, "Wait, what was it?" And Kay was like, "Yeah, you said that you're not going to break character for these women. You said that's not going to happen." Stacey looked at her. She said, "Karen, every time I'm around you and we have to converse, it's always something negative with you. Like you always want to fight." And Karen said, "Oh no, Stacey, I can fight. If I wanted to fight, I can fight." And I said, "Oh my God."
You was just crying about the fight that you got in with a bitch that don't even got hands. Now you can fight if you need to. Kiana is lost and needs to hit up her social worker boyfriend for a referral so that she could seek help. That's all.
Yes, absolutely. Giselle sees Cookie at the party, so she goes over to Cookie, and I'll talk about this at the end of the episode. I'm just going to acknowledge that Cookie was there, but I'll talk about Cookie at the end of this episode. Tia explains her background. Her grandfather was a prince of Nigeria. I forgot the city and tribe. Sorry, y'all. And she also, Stacy cracked me up because Stacy says, "You guys know that my mom had told me I'm Nigerian." And I'm just like, Stacey, you can't help but love her because I was like, Stacey, know your place, know the placement, read the room. That is not what's going on right now. But it was funny. And what's actually crazy is I actually believe Stacey. I do. And I'm not saying this, I'm always believe Stacey. I do think Stacey lies about some shit, but I don't think she's lying about that because everyone's doing their ancestry. So I think that it's something that everyone's finding out, and she could be. But when Stacey said that she was Nigerian, I was hollering because everybody was like, "Stacey, come on, we can't take you serious." Is there anything else you want to add, Mrs. Best? Because I'm gonna move on to the next scene.
No, it's just the same things happening scene after scene in different ways.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna talk about that lady in that dress and everything. I'm not talking about that because that was stupid. Um, Stacey goes over to Wendy's house. And Stacy puts it out there that she's happy to have one person in this group that's not constantly coming for her and is willing to actually hear her out and give her a chance. And I said, that's really sad when, as we said, the shit that Stacy is lying about, according to Lace, is not that big of a fucking deal. But at least somebody is willing to film with Stacy because, I would just come around everybody. I wouldn't care one way or the other. But Wendy is talking to her about the whole TJ thing and why the ladies are coming after her and everything. And she asks her, "Are there receipts?" What TJ saying? And Stacey goes, "I don't really know how to answer that because nothing has been brought to me. The last I talked to TJ, we were fine. We both moved on." So, in the midst of her saying that, Wendy asks, "Well, are you engaged? What's the ring?" And Stacey makes Wendy aware that she is back with her husband. And Wendy turned around and said, "I know you fucking lying. I know you lying." She said, "Stacey." She she, she said, "Stacey, wait, what just happened? You're back with your husband?" And I want to know, y'all comment this. Is this really that big of a fucking deal if somebody decides to get back with their husband shortly thereafter they left somebody else?
I would say it would be a bigger deal if she wasn't actively in the middle of a divorce. When Stacey came to us on television, basically, it had only been maybe a year that her and her husband had separated. They were still in the same house if we go back to the first season. Their daughter didn't even know. So I don't feel like Stacy is lying just based on the like facts and how her daughter is involved. But I do think it is strange in general when somebody goes through the effort, the time, and the money to get a divorce to then get back with the person. Like, regardless of the situation, I do find that to be weird because I'll be goddamned if I'm paying all this money, having to take time off of work to go to court, change my name back, change bills around, all this crazy stuff just to end up back with someone. But we've seen several Bravo stars do it. So I don't know why everybody is trying to make Stacy seem like a big damn deal. Nene received a watch from that white man on television and then was back with Greg the next season. Why is this a big deal?
And that's why I'm saying, like, this has already been done on Bravo. So why are we acting like what Stacey's doing is some obnoxious, crazy thing? Like, it's ridiculous. Shani said, "I don't understand why it's a big of a reach for her wanting to get back with her husband and make her family whole again." Exactly, because to me, Arabella is still young, and this is a very critical time for her to see her parents get divorced. So to have them there maybe gives her some comfort. And I think, and I agree with you, it is weird to go through all of that for only a short period of time to get back with somebody. It just seems like y'all should have just went to bigger therapists or, read some books or just try to see if maybe y'all needed to separate home life and maybe start dating and, trying to take a step back. And there's also times I had a good conversation with my friend over the weekend. Sometimes going back to where you were is hard in the situation. Sometimes you have to break up and maybe do everything in order for you guys to come back. So maybe that's what they were doing. Maybe it's one of those situations where it was hard because you're always going to have those ties. So maybe if you cut all the ties and then come back as whole and new, maybe that will help. I'm just trying to reason with
She
people.
didn't say nothing about him cheating. She didn't want to take extra money from him. Something tells me the relationship ended likely because of the career change from QVC to Bravo, because that is kind of a strange leap, even though it's happened before. And businessmen like him that are wealthy make a lot. We've seen this with pretty much every housewife that has a legitimately wealthy husband. They don't always be with the idea of the show. They don't always know what's going to come with it. So maybe he didn't know and it like led to this whole big thing and now they're back together. Whatever the hell it is, Stacey's made it very clear that she will entertain, she will stay when she has to, she'll walk away when you on some bullshit. But she's made it pretty clear. I think her kids and the husband, even when he was the ex-husband, are off limits. So they need to let it go because I don't see Stacey ever giving them the information that they want from her.
Mhm. Yeah, Shandy said, "Let's not forget Stacy's husband had a girlfriend. Isn't that why they broke up?" No, I think it was like Mrs. Best said, it was change of career and stuff like that because he got the girlfriend after the fact because they were both technically, if we want to include TJ, which we not, but for shits and giggles, let's do it. Technically, that's when they got other people. So they just kind of got other people after they decided to go ahead and divorce. So I think it was career oriented. Um, I could have sworn she said the husband had a girlfriend. Yeah, yeah, he did. Hey, Kiwan, thank you for joining us today. We appreciate you. So, Stacy addresses the Happy Eddie and her getting her own cannabis line. She lets Wendy know that, yes, I am getting my own cannabis line, but just to let you know, those conversations about me getting them did not happen when Giselle said that they happened. They happened after the fact. And to me, that doesn't matter because you still wanted to do that, and you could have just easily say, "You look, you and Eddie inspired me to start my own cannabis line after the success of yours." So I just wanted to go ahead and dip my toe in that pond too. It's a venture that's everyone's trying to do, and it's very lucrative. I wanted my own. That's all she had to do. Because all Wendy said was, "Yeah, I did hear conversations about Stacy wanting to start her own cannabis line from multiple sources." So, all she had to do was say, "Hey, I'm doing this too." Because Wendy said that she ain't trying to stop her show, and she wishes her well in the business endeavor, which was commendable. Because it's not really a like a competing thing. Because let me tell you something, people buy weed like it's candy, literally. They will go to any and whomever.
I can personally attest and probably contribute to supporting that statistic. That is all.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Trust me. I got family members that will literally go to this corner, that corner, and around the block to go get some, depending on whoever has it on sale and whoever got the good stuff. So that's how they work. I don't partake in it. Now, will I go into business? It depends on how me and Mrs. Best, when we do our YouTube endeavors and everything, if we decide to invest in a little one, we can. But yeah, I'm not, it's not for me, but I would open my own. I'll just have to have people to try it for me.
I'll
Uh,
try whatever you need in any form, liquid, resin, wax, flour, edible. I'm here for you.
all right. I love to hear. So we'll see what happens. Hi, DM Rocks. Thank you for being here. We appreciate you. I think weed is like the music. Everybody has different tastes. So there's room. It is. No, that is exactly how you should categorize it because that is absolutely correct. I've learned because my brother told me there's this, there's that, there's this, there's edibles, there's this, that. I'm just like, that's too much. That's why I know it's not for me. It's way too much. I'm not going to try all that to see what I like. I'm just not going to do it. Um, DM Rocks, you said you ordered Happy Eddie. Let me know how it is. I think Stacey should start out with edibles. I think she should go to full fledged. She has the money to do so. So I think that she should go full fledged.
That could be another reason her and that husband back together too, because I guarantee you he's helping to fund this project.
That man has a lot of money. So I am sure he's behind this. Absolutely. Like this is definitely not something I don't listen. This is my opinion. This is allegedly. I don't believe Stacey's doing this on her own. I think her husband is 100% funding that, and as he should. That's his wife. So, and that's something that he'll get a great return on her if he do invest in it. So, yeah. I ordered it. It took my credit card out of the website so fast after Wendy. Oh, well, I mean, they still should be supported in the business. I mean, that's something that poor judgment. But as I said, I'm not going to talk about that because at the end of the day, we're not there yet. We all the way in January and February and March. We're not in October. So we'll talk about that when October comes on the filming day. Stacey could have minty edibles. That's also something else I don't want to talk about is her breath. I do have it in my notes, but that's so stupid and petty. Like it's not like her.
People are extremely upset with Watch What Happens Live,
Yes, I
I
heard.
guess, because of what they did. But y'all, sometimes I feel like people get upset over like shit that don't make no sense. Like it's not the nicest thing, but they could have done a lot more than talk about her breath. So for this cast, that's pretty light.
Yeah. So that was pretty much it with Wendy and Stacy. After she wishes her well on success, we all wish you well success on that, Stacy. We hope it turns out great for you. The next thing we're going to talk about. Oh yeah, I looked him up. I think if he's not CEO, he's COO. He's one of the two. Yeah, I heard he. Yeah, I heard it, and that's huge to be one of those positions because that is like a seven-figure salary, and yeah, and he's been doing it for I heard quite some years. I heard he has many years at that company. So yeah. Um, Let me see what's next. Oh, Tia. So we're going over to Tia's house, and y'all know she invites Giselle over to mingle, and we're a family. So Tia has her daughters making the charcuterie board, and she goes over and greets Giselle at the door, and her twins come, such the cutest little babies I've ever seen. her son and daughter. So their son and daughter are twins. She has one boy and three girls. She has older kids. They did have some attitudes. I said, "Ooh, she got her hands full with those two for sure." But she looked like the type that will give them back that same energy because she grew up with the, aesthetic, as she says. She grew up with a cook, a chauffeur, a steward. I don't even know what the fuck a steward is. And a butler. I said, well, goddamn. I mean, just let us know you still living that extravagant lifestyle in America. Um, Giselle meets her husband Rob. He does sales and acquisitions for where is it at? A rent and a rental company. I don't know what that is either, but it seems like it's pays well.
Aeronautic.
Aeronautic.
It's basically like, I know it has to do with the physics of like airplanes and stuff like that. He's very smart.
Okay, okay, all right. Well, good, good, good. So Tia explains that he runs the errands. He does everything. He does, he's with the kids. I don't do anything. I'm not, I like my me time and everything like that. Um, Tia, is this on? Tia, how you do it? Please tell me how you do it. Because I aspire. I do, because y'all know I want a lot of kids. I do. I'm only getting, I think, if I do decide to marry my current fiance, I'm only getting maybe one or two. I want 5, 6 to 7 kids. And if I can find a husband that is like that man that take the kids to the mall and I ain't got to do nothing but just yell at them every now and then, tell them to make my charcuterie board and bring it into the living room so me and my girlfriend can drink our wine and stuff like that. I want that life. How you do it? Please tell me how you did it. And y'all, and I'm not playing. That is what I aspire to be, Tia. I do. Global real estate investor and real estate advisor, husband at home, several children, take them to the mall. Kid, you do this, you do that, just complete Annie the situation. I'm just playing, y'all. I ain't gonna do that. But I aspire. I love that life. But Tia is very interesting, her lifestyle and what she grew up in. You know, that's pretty much it for Tia. She really didn't share too much. Giselle cracked me up. She goes, "Is he the nanny?" And she goes, "Yeah, but don't tell him I said that." I said, "Girl, that man know he the nanny. Come on now. He looks like he's in order. Your whole house is in order, and we know that you run it." Is there anything else about Tia that you wanted to chime in on, Mrs. Best?
I didn't chime in at all. I don't have much to say on her. I enjoyed her. I like that she's an actual housewife. She represents the wealth that is in DMV area. There's huge black wealth in that area, and I just felt like we didn't get to see that with the current cast that they've had really in all the seasons. We kind of saw it with Monique, but we didn't get to see it too much. So I appreciate that Tia's upbringing, I think, will align with Stacy's behavior, even though they're kind of opposite. But I'm tired of people coming on this show and acting like ratchet little heifers at times. Kiana, Ashley, like, so it's nice to have someone on here who really is astute and fancy, and that they can't really bully. It would be very difficult. So yeah, I don't mind her.
That's good. Yeah, she's actually. I can see her being my favorite because I loved her from this episode on. I'm sorry, I'm Team Tia as well. She is definitely something I aspire to be. Today, Giselle and Tia are no longer friends. Not surprised. They were never friends. Production called Giselle because they had something in common. And Giselle said, "Of course, I know her because we, go to the same social events. Tia's well connected, I'm sure." And they said, "Okay, we'll try her out for the show and let's see how she does." That's usually how these production things work. They were never friends to begin with. They were trying to maybe become friends, but I wonder what the fallout will be as well. I'm here for it. Them dang preteens and teens. But I tell you, them daughters got her attitude for sure. They got it down packed. Because she cracked me up that little scene where she goes, "Oh my God, just smile like you did when I first had you." And that's another thing I want parents to start doing is encourage your kids to smile and be happy and be joyous. That is like something I want when I have children, to raise them to always smile and be joyous. Because you are a blessing on this earth and you have a great life. Be grateful. But hormones be crazy. I know hormones and teenage hormones be, a mug, but still find a way to smile. Um, would you say, Shani, that husband looked like he loved being a girl dad? He's happy to drive them anywhere they need to go. She got him trained. Because I'm sure to be married to her, he had to do certain things and live up to expectations. Because you have to understand, she's had a driver, she's had a steward, she's had a butler, she's had a cook. So I'm pretty sure he had to rise to a lot of different requirements to get her. Like, I'm sure this
I
wasn't.
I agree with that. Just because with part of their marriage works because they're so different. She says she grew up with butlers and stewards and all of that. He grew up in the south side of Chicago. So I think that is the balance that works. I think it probably is easier for him to show up because he probably appreciates the life that they have, and she probably affords him to have a nice life as well. But I like them as a couple.
Yeah, I need to see more of him, and he needs to talk a little bit more. But yeah, so far, I
No,
just
we
like.
don't. He's
Yes, he
not a
does.
house. My thing is the housewives, until they come back and are more strict with who can be a housewife and who can't, we're here to watch the women, not the husbands. And Potomac, especially with how husbands have gone on this show, I don't want to see nobody's husband until the original cast members are gone. And I know that sounds extreme, but anytime husbands speak on this show, something happens negative. I don't want to see it again. This cast is not good with husbands.
Her husband is part of the. What is this? How do you pronounce that? Shani, I don't know what that means, but if you and DM Rocks, I know what they're saying about this husband. I have those same thoughts. Still out of Angel. Her comment, episode 1 during her confessional gave me pause. I am a girl's girl. It has been proven time and time again. Anyone who says they are a girl's girl is not sorry. Mm. Yeah, I can. You know what? I could see her like demands of like her daughter to put a charcuterie board together for her and Giselle. That kind of gave me thoughts that she may not be in like she believes in coddling the son and probably putting those daughters to work. I can kind of see her being that way just based on that. Fans are implying that they may, yeah, yeah. And I'm gonna let y'all in on a little secret. He kind of my type. That's why I said I could see it. The Revenge of the Nerds movie reference. Oh, I got you. I got you. I got you. Got you. Got you. You funded. Yeah, I saw it. No, y'all don't have to. I see. I could see. I can see very clearly. But hey, it all is in line with the time you grew up in. Like, I feel like men who are in the 70s and 80s growing up, I think it's harder for y'all to live in y'all truths versus 90s and 2000 kids who just do
Oh,
it
I
for
had
sport.
stepped away. I didn't know you was gonna let us talk about that on live. All right.
No, we talking about it. You can chime in at any time. But I'm just
Oh
saying
yeah,
it.
because I seen it too, but it still seemed like they have a wonderful agreement within their institution.
Let me tell you something, babe. I would be married to Tia for the rest of my life too, and still be on who I am today. I would marry. Yes, I would. Butler, Stewart, she would get on my nerves. But something about her just gives me she's fun. Like she just gives me fun energy that I probably would stay married to because there's probably a lot of perks. There's probably a lot of perks. I was talking about Angel, not Tia. You referenced Tia. I ain't there yet, but didn't Tia say it too? I could have sworn Tia said it too. She may not have. Y'all know I'm old and I don't remember nothing. But anyways, y'all, it's okay. We'll get to that in just a second. Y'all jumping ahead. Jumping ahead, quit jumping ahead. Y'all gonna throw me off. But that was pretty much it. It was a quick little conversation, didn't really do too much. Anything else you want to add, Mrs. Best, before I move on? All right, made it froze, y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and move on. The next thing we see is Ashley. She's getting ready to go to the event. She has her sister Jessica, who has Sheila's entire face. I said, well, because I thought that was Sheila, y'all. I said, dang, was Sheila? I said, Sheila got a new wig. And then I really looked at her. I said, oh, no, that's not Sheila. That's the baby. I said, ooh, baby, she got, oh, when I tell y'all, Sheila's Tire face. Oh Lord, that's scary.
That's unfortunate, but
It's scary.
yeah.
Like, oh yeah. But all she doing is going to events. She's back with Josh because she had to let him know she was going on Love Hotel, kissing old ass men and shit. So now she's back with Josh. That's it. Anything else you want to add, Mrs. Best? Because I'm gonna move on.
No.
Okay. So the next thing we have is Angel. Angel and Bobby Massey go out to dinner. They're moving back to, of course, extend their business and, start over in the DMV area since he's now retired. Um, they advise that they're currently renting their home. They're looking for a new one. They are looking in the Potomac area, but they're not quite finding exactly what they're looking for. Their home in Colorado is beautiful. It's been in magazines. It's also had awards and everything. So they're looking to do that. Angel doesn't mind doing renovations. Bobby is like, nah, I don't want to go through that again. I'm kind of over that. Like, no, let's just get something that is turnkey kind of style. And then after that, she kind of goes on to say, how they met. Apparently, he slid into them Facebook DMs. And I was like, oof, not Facebook DMs. Like, how'd that work? Because isn't with Facebook, it's not like Instagram where you can just follow somebody and just go in their DMs. If we're talking about back when they were dating, like Facebook worked a lot differently back then, where you had to be friends with somebody to get a
How
message.
long have they been together?
They said 6 years.
Yeah,
So
six
6 years they've
years
been
ago, you
married.
could still message people without being their friend.
Well, 6 years married. I'm talking about like I don't
Even
know
10
how.
years ago, you could. That was
Really?
like, yeah, even 10 years ago, you could.
How do you see the message? Because you can't just message me if you're not friends with me.
You go to your message request.
Oh, okay. So that probably explains because I'm like, it took her 4 years to respond to the message or something like that. We're saying,
I still think it's weird in general to date on Facebook. Mind, I haven't dated since 2009, so I am probably like severely unqualified, out of practice, whatever you call it. But I hear people talking about Facebook and Facebook dating, and I just don't understand how you can meet someone on Facebook.
okay, so I met Gio on Facebook. So this is my story, but Facebook has a dating app now, and that's how
Like
he and I met.
separate from the regular app.
Yeah.
Oh
Well, you still
Lord.
go on your page to access it, but it is a separate entity app. Like it's connected, interconnected, but it's different. So they can't just go on your Facebook page and look through all your shit. It's very separate. Like you have to send them a request to be a friend on Facebook. Like the Facebook found a way to make it very separate, but it's still a part of the attachment because you use your profile as the buffer. They even choose pictures and everything.
Wow.
So it's very
God
much
bless all of you people who got to go through that shit dating. God bless you all. That sounds like a headache. To go through
honestly.
all of that and to end up on a date with a motherfucker you still may not like. That's deep.
I kind of see. Here's the thing for me. As I said, it's how I met my current. So I mean, I can't really knock it because so far so good. But in the same instances, it's better than some of the ones that are out there for my sexuality. Like I'm just gonna put it like that. My sexuality, it's one of the safer ones, if that makes sense. Because then I kind of met with
Yeah,
like,
that makes sense. That makes a lot of
yeah.
sense.
hmm Kevin Reynolds said dating on social media is scary. People be coming up missing or dead. As I said, I think Facebook is one of the more safer ones. I do because you can put locations and shit. So it's kind of, the other ones you can't. Look at Twin. She's so smart. She is the smartest person I know. The smartest person I know aside from myself. So yes, definitely Mrs. Best is smart. Is it me? Ashley gives subliminal I hate saying that abbreviation vibes. It was the comments in her confessional that made me think as to why I made the initial comment. Which confessional was she talking about? Her mama and that man? Which confessional? Because I don't remember. I mean, here's the thing. I get a black woman who's black when it's convenient for her to be it. but does not like it. Like I feel like I'm looking at a self-hating woman who wants to align more with that other side of her, but can't because she has no connection to it. So it's kind of like a mirror from Summer's House Martha's Vineyard. It's very much that. Like I'm a connect to being black because aesthetically I may favor have the features and look it, but I align more like that because I know I'm light skinned and can get in those rooms. That's what she gives me. So I don't know if that's more of subliminally that more so than it's self-hating and it's, you know, that light skin mentality versus I don't know what it is about Ashley, but yeah. So we'll see as time goes on. Shana, I'm 54. You know, Kevin Reynolds, you're 54. Where have I been? I think you said that once before, and that's just coming to my head. I am so old and paranoid. I can't meet no strangers on the internet like that. Yeah, it's a risk. It's a risk to take. It really is. It's a risk to take, especially when there's some parameters of the other person you may not know. I've been in some dangerous situations. Like I don't want to give a story time because I still have trauma from that. But yeah, I've been in some scary situations. It's not, you know. No, the confessional of her refereeing the White House correspondent dinner. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. Gotcha. Okay. Um, let me move on, y'all. So where we were at Angel. We were talking about her and her husband meeting on Facebook. She also mentions that she wasn't looking for a footballer at that time, of her life, but but here she is, and she says being a wag, there is a lot of benefits to that: private jets, pearls, furs, and everything like that. I'm gonna say this. I get it. I understand it. You making a stamp that you're a housewife. You totally get it. Not mad at you. But it was very superficial at the same time. And I didn't really get that vibe of her being superficial at first, but in this dinner conversation, I kind of see it a little bit. And maybe she's maturing as time goes on. That's why it wasn't really as evident, but I don't know. There's just something about that just was like, okay. Is there anything else you like about him? Just asking. Mrs. Best, how'd you feel about her describing herself as the football wife extraordinaire that she is?
She's lucky that she has the husband that she has, because a lot of the men in sports would let go or cheat on her left and right based on her not being in their standard of what perfection would be considered as a woman. So I call bullshit. I think that in any relationship, whether you're married or not, you can tell if there's a spark, if the chemistry is there. You could tell if people like each other for them, whether it be looks, good conversation, personality, but they like each other for them versus what they can provide them or what they have. She did not give me that. Now, there are a lot of women who have come on the Housewives speaking about how their husband got all this wealth and they have this and they have that and they live a certain way, but they'll speak about other stuff they like about their husband. The most recent one I can think of, because she was acting a fool online, was NECA. Her husband was a traveling physician, made a lot of money. She showed her life, champagne, all of that. Yes, she was an attorney also, just like Angel had a great career in the industry as well. But she spoke about other stuff that she liked about her husband. Angel just seems like she wants to show us what he does for her. And I'm like, okay, y'all didn't have shit to talk about at this dinner table.
Nothing that was
So
like,
you can have all the money, all the trips, luxury experiences, but what does that mean if you sit down with your partner and y'all don't have shit to talk about other than you had to wait this long for me to hit you up, and you know now you paying for this, and like maybe she was putting on for the camera, but I just got the sense that she settled for him maybe because of what he can provide. That's all I'm gonna say.
this is the prime example that's going to back Mrs. Best's point up because, yeah, I noticed that too. Is it me or did she seem like order the lobster just to order it because it was so expensive? It did give, I'm going to do this because you can pay for it kind of situation. It did give that. But also, I just kind of want to put it in perspective. Like, I get like the reference of what you're saying, because I do think that Aneka did love her husband and love certain attributes and certain things, and they did have great conversations. And you saw the chemistry a little bit. I don't see the chemistry with these two. It was just kind of like,
I didn't even sense a friendship. And to me, if you don't have a friendship within your relationship, it's gonna make hard times even harder, even if you are able to somehow make it.
right. And then also, the biggest red flag about them to me is her taking 4 years to respond back. And he said when my money was right. Now they laughed that off, but I heard that and I was like, okay. Even though she had a great career and I knew who she was before Real Housewives of Potomac, but I'm just saying that does happen. I wish more people were more honest about that. I'm just saying, like, just be honest about it. I mean, it's there. So, I mean, what the hell else are you supposed to do with it? Did not like how Nneka spoke to her husband at all. It was very condescending. Honestly, it was both of them. Like, I did see the chemistry between them. Don't get me wrong, I did, but I felt like it was both of them. I feel like they both had ways about them, and I think that that's why they were so balanced. Because he also spoke to her in ways that I was kind of like, oh yeah, that feel like that's gonna be something else when y'all get home. But yeah, didn't he say to her, "Yeah, you didn't hit me back on Facebook until you realized I paid"? Yeah, I heard. Yeah, that's what I heard. He said until my money was right. That's exactly what I heard. So I was like, oh okay. And yeah, he said it under his breath, but I do believe that's real.
See, women be so busy thinking they chasing security, getting somebody that's gonna be able to provide for them when they need to take a break, have their babies and whatnot. But they don't realize that when you make comments like that, he may have joked it off. We may have thought everything was good, but let's say 10 years from now your relationship's in a rough patch, he may think of that. Or don't be surprised if the man decides to pull up a post nut. So I don't know. I feel like Angel will provide a good she's a good addition because she's controversial with this marriage. I have several questions. But when it comes to how she handles the women in the group, I feel like she'll do okay.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of which, because we can parlay into that, Giselle goes over to Kay's condo, and this is her first time being there. And Giselle's like, "Oh, this is very nice," and they go and sit outside. And Kay has a personal chef over there cooking up storms and everything. And Giselle's like, "Oh, what's his status? I need to know," because he brought up a salad. The salad did look good, y'all. That's my kind of salad. Um, Giselle asked how her and Greg are doing. Are they back together? What's going on with that? Does he stay here? Kay said, yeah, he can stay here, but this is my personal space. Like, this is, my time away from Greg. But she said that they're good, they're in a good place and everything. And I'm just like, women, stop settling. Just stop. Because ain't no way in hell, but okay. Kay mentions to Giselle about she had an event at her spa where several of the other ladies, which were Tia, Ashley, and Angel, showed up. And the conversation ended up being about Wendy. And I guess, they probably want to know how they were doing. And as she was telling them what happened about, the event in LA, Angel said, well, did you ask her if her babies were okay? Because she told you her babies were sick. And Kate felt slighted by that. She was like, wait, what? She goes, no, I didn't ask. She goes, oh, okay. And Tia's piped up. She said, well, maybe the babies were fine if she ended up coming to LA. And I love where Angel was going with this. I love it because it put Kay in a spot to where now Wendy has the same gripe about you. The same gripe you had about her, and your own friend even played you. But see, the problem with people is that some people don't think beyond that. But what Angel did actually was a chess move, which was crazy because it put Kay at a standstill. Because what are you fighting about? What is your argument? The same argument about you feeling slighted about her, she could feel slighted about you because you're not a mother. So even if her kids were sick, and even though that was an obligated event for her to be at the same time, the same issues you have with her, she now can have about you about her kids because you didn't ask. Well, if we're really friends, will you ask if my kids were okay? She put that back on her, and I said, Angel, you might catch hell for that from her, but that was very smart because it made it feel like, okay, you're being petty and you're being silly, but in realistically, you don't have a reason to be. I thought it was very smart. And so Kay's like, yeah, I felt sorry because you my friend of 20 years. Like, why are you defending Wendy? And it's not that she was defending Wendy. She was letting you see that the same gripe you have about her, she could have about you, but she chose to take the high road and you should too. Very simple, complex situation. So Giselle was like, wait, she defended Wendy? Why she defend Wendy? What did she defend Wendy for? And Kay was like, yeah, I had to chin check her after that. She said, not chin check, and how that's going to come back to bite her in the ass because you have to understand something. Giselle is nobody's friend in real life. Giselle's nobody's friend. Just you and Kiana had to be smart enough to know that Giselle is going to run that back to Angel. Maybe Kiana didn't watch the show enough because you couldn't have thought that that was safe between you and her, right? You couldn't have thought that, right? Okay, Mrs. Best. Do you think that Kay was smart to open up to Giselle like that?
I mean, we know that that's not smart to do. The only thing I really care to comment on is Angel and what she did for Kay. I think that Angel and Tia are handling it correctly because they both tried to look at both sides of the story instead of placing blame, but they also both kind of stayed in their lane. But the fact that Kay looked annoyed that Tia would mention Wendy's kids, which could have been your friend trying to help you, like, don't do this. This is not going to work out in your favor.
Exactly.
Like your friend was trying to throw you a bone, but your dumb ass
Mm-hmm.
is too filled with Botox from your med spa that you probably don't know that. The other thing is, Kay, let your friend shine. Your friend of 20 years is new to a show that you are a full-time cast member on because somebody threw something in your face or whatever happened. So I would be trying to find a way to make sure that my friend gets their spot secured. But
This is
instead, you want to get mad and say you chin checking your friend, which is crazy.
this is it right here. She does. She wants yes men. She wants people. That's why I said Angel got her ass. And see, the problem is that you have to understand. And Angel wasn't coming from no messy ass place. She was as a point of a mother. I'm sure my friend of 20 years, if I tell you my kid is okay, you're going to ask me, hey, how's the baby doing? So, yeah, she got her ass with that one. I had to give it to her because it was like, no, you hold your friends accountable because, first of all, this is stupid. This whole Kiana beef with Wendy is stupid. And the same way Kiana wants to have these, what you say, Kevin also knows using incorrectly. Last episode, it was microaggressions. This episode, it was chin check. Yeah. That's what she's doing. She's not only doing that, she's also putting it as she's some victim for us. This is a storyline. This is obviously a storyline. I'm sure, I don't know who did it, but this was the wrong move, Kiana. This was the wrong move. So, and I think Lexi Lean said it best. She's struggling on the show because she does not want to go into that relationship again. That's all that this is, y'all. This is my personal opinion. I think Kay does not want to go into that relationship again like she did last season because I think that embarrassed that man, and I think he got in her ass about it. And to me, I feel like the only person that didn't do him any favors was himself. She's filmed at your business and was helping you, made herself look stupid because we were all wondering why she ain't at her own business. But here you are. And I feel like that's the reason why she's struggling and grasping at straws with this storyline for Wendy. But that shit's gonna come back to bite her. And I was like, and that's the bait. And she took it like a fool. But is there anything else you want to add, Mrs. Best, before we go?
No.
Okay. So the last thing we're gonna talk about is Angel's event. Angel's having events, a holistic sound bath. She's into, melodies and all that kind of shit, whatever that shit is. Wendy cracked me up because, and I wrote this in my notes, and this is why I'm laughing. When the lady said, "Would you like a hot towel?" and Wendy said, "Let me smell it." No, I ain't gonna take that. That is me. I have done that before. I don't know where I was, but Someone offered me a hot towel and I smelt it and I said no. And I don't know what was on the towel, but it was just way too strong, whatever it was. I laughed so hard at that. I know that's nothing, y'all, but that is me. I will smell something in a minute and be like, nah. And then so they offer her a hibiscus drink. It's a tea with vodka. And then I don't know. Did you hear what she was putting into the tea? The little drops. What was that?
I think like some sort of a calming agent. Maybe it could have been. They do have liquid forms of THC, so maybe it was that. Um, I didn't quite catch it myself, but the whole event. Listen, I'm the same way. I want to smell it. I smell my food before I eat it.
Yep.
I won't even put fork to plate without smelling it. It got to look right. It got to smell right.
It was potion. Was it? But it was. I was trying to get the name of it so I can Google it. I really was. I'm gonna have to hold my phone up and zoom in on it because I really want to know what it was. But the way Wendy was swishing that shit around, it was funny as hell. I'm sorry, I was laughing way too hard at that scene because it really wasn't funny to most people, but I was hollering. As everyone's getting there, this is where shit gets funny because Kay and Giselle get there together, and I'm just like, "Oh, you don't know what you're doing, Kay. You just do not know." Um, they're in there talking, and as they're talking, everyone's coming around, and as Ashley gets there, they talk about the event and everything, and Giselle wants to know, are Kay and Wendy cool? And Wendy was like, I'm good. Like, we don't have a problem. And see, and Kay in her confessional goes, see, that's Wendy's problem. I want to move on and be friends. And then she says, we don't have a problem. I looked at the TV and I rewind that because y'all, I thought I misheard it. I really did. Kiana said, see, Wendy says we don't have a problem and I want to move on. So Wendy doesn't have a problem with you and you want to move on. So what the fuck is the problem? Mrs. Best, somebody come get her, please.
I don't have the answer, Slay. The the thing of it is Kay is reaching. I think that everybody feels that Kay is reaching. Even with all this going on with Wendy's arrest, when people comment on the situation online, Kay is still reaching. I don't care if Wendy was holding up banks and stealing money and candy from babies. Kay is reaching. She's reaching. She wants so badly to have a moment, and I think Gizzard Neck and Seven Head have convinced her that Wendy is the easiest person to go after. Kay is just a flop. I would say Kay and Shamia are the biggest Bravo flops of 2025.
Absolutely, 100% agree, and can't wait till that show comes back to go into that more.
Giselle is messy.
Giselle's messy.
Right.
This is where the messy comes in. So then Giselle goes over to Kay and Angel. She said, "Are y'all too good?" Angel is confused because she was like, "Yeah, why would we not be good?" And Kay is looking nervous as hell because she was like, "Oh shit." She's like, "Oh shit." She goes, "Well, um, Giselle said, well, the last time we were together, Kay, you had said you had to chin check her." And Angel looked at Kay was like, "What? Wait a minute. Wait, what happened?" And Kay was like, "No, I did not say that, Giselle. I'm gonna throw this fruit at you. No, I did not say that, Giselle. You know I didn't say that." And I said, "Oh no, not you lying." But everybody wants to call Stacey a liar. And Giselle said, "No, she really said that to me. She really said that. Kay, come on, you know you said that." And Angel said, "Ain't nobody finna chin check me. Ain't nobody finna do all that." So they kind of walk away because Stacey had came. And so so Giselle had pulled Kay to the side. She said, "Kay, you know you said that. It's on camera. Like, you know you said it." She goes, "I said that for real?" And they said, "Yes, you know you said it." She goes, "Okay, let me go pull Angel to say, Angel, Giselle just told me that I said that, so I need to apologize to you." And Angel said, "No, we good. You know, I know you didn't mean it like that." Angel took the high road. Because in her confessional, she said, "I know Kay didn't say that because that's very aggressive." So now that she did say it, Angel, that's the only thing I can think of because I would have had that in the back of my mind. Like, yeah, I'm at this event, but I'm gonna get her ass later. That's would have been me. Mrs. Beth, how would you have handled that?
In the exact same way. Angel's not stupid. I think Angel knew that Kay did say that just because people don't really use terms like that too much anymore. So I feel like them knowing each other for so long, she knows that Kay probably has the potential to say that. She probably also knows that Kay is a little bit messy. I just got that vibe. But when we saw her in her confessional, it also gave that Angel is like me. If I can avoid a confrontation, I'm going to avoid a confrontation, not for my benefit, but for the other person's. Because once I'm there, I don't have a happy medium. I'm either going to attack you the way a shark would, or I'm just going to walk away. So I would have walked away and just been like, noted. We that from that moment, it seemed like Angel's gonna like maybe still mess with Kay because of the history, but I don't think she'll ever trust her again. I think we watched that friendship change in a scene.
Oh,
Because your
absolutely.
first her first instinct was to lie. And again,
Yes.
y'all are mad at Stacy because of a lie that had nothing to do with any of you and that did not impact any of you. Kay just told a lie that could have started so much shit and impacted all of you, and y'all want to let that shit go. So that's why
100%.
I don't be seeing it for Potomac, because the way they do shit is just stupid.
Yeah. I want to read Shandy's comment because I think it's funny. Kiana, Giselle's not your friend. She will blow up your spot. She will twist your words when she can. You will learn. Now, Shandy, let's be honest. Giselle didn't lie and she didn't twist no words. That's exactly what Kiana said. So I can't be mad at Giselle. Now, was it messy? Like Lexi Lean said, absolutely. It was absolutely messy. And I was embarrassed for Kay too. But also, we got to understand, you said an important thing. Giselle is not your friend. Giselle is nobody's friend. Giselle is only friends with Robin, because I don't think she'll ever double cross Robin, and her daughters. That's the only people Giselle is loyal to and will be friends with. She's not friends with nobody else. She don't have it in her. Bless her heart. But so once we blow over that, Stacy, is joining the girls, but before she gets there, Giselle said, "Look, make sure y'all say these bowl of mints for Stacy." And Stacy, and then so Tia didn't get the joke at first, and so Tia's asking, "But what is the issue with the mints? Like, why is there a bowl of mints?" And Angel said, "Well, just in case anybody after they eat wants to refresh their breath or anything." And so Ashley and Giselle look over at Stacy, and they said, "Yeah, Stacy, because sometimes your breath be a little hot." And Stacy, I have to give it to her. She is television made, because Stacy said, "Oh, wow, okay. Well, let me grab a mint then." Because see, most people would have got offended and got their feelings hurt, because this is not the first time that Ashley has brought up her breath in front of her. So Stacy just said, "Hey, you know what? Out of all the issues I didn't have with these women, if today the issue is my breath, I will take one of those mints." I said, "That's right, Stacy. Don't let these women get you." That's why I
I
like
know
Stacy.
Ashley probably watched that shit back and was punching the air because
Mm-hmm.
she just wanted to see that she got to somebody. And Stacy is smart as hell. And this is exactly why Stacy is who she thinks she is. It belongs on Housewives. Because Housewives is not meant to be like Love and Hip Hop where everybody's just rolling their necks and getting in each other's faces. You're supposed to be able to read people for filth and remind them of their stupidity without doing too much. She was like, "Oh, you want to talk about my breath? How about this? I acknowledge it stank. Let me grab a mint. Now what you got to say, bitch? Now what? Move
Yes.
on. What next?" And Ashley is gone. I know she was punching the air.
Because it's not doing what you think it's doing. This is not embarrassing her. This is not telling us any element of her that's just gonna make us all turn our backs on her. Like, it's like, okay, our breath stank. What y'all want us to do about it? I think it's mean, and I think it's very tasteless. Like, I feel like y'all are picking on this girl at the end of the day, and that's why we're all standing for her, because everybody has stank breath at some point. When you wake up in the morning, when you eat certain foods, it happens. Like, the hell? Oh my gosh. Thank you, Kevin Reynolds, because it does come off as bullying, especially in the Watch What Happens Live. I saw that and I was pissed about that too, because I was like, that's messed up. Like, that can always follow her. Like, y'all don't understand, like, when y'all say certain things about certain people, that can always follow her. She may be wanting to get a job doing something, and then people are like, "Oh, well, but they say you have hot breath." Like, and how's she supposed to respond to that? Like, I'm pretty sure Stacy will figure it out, but sometimes things follow people. Like, y'all have to be careful when y'all do shit like that. Um, that's why I said let her use it to her advantage. Come out with minty edibles and then laugh all the way to the bank. Yeah, I mean, I got what you were saying, Shani. I do, but at the same time, it's like how much longer are y'all gonna do this? Like we had a whole episode that was based on Stacy's breath, and now here we are, episode 2, and y'all still are doing this. Like, come on, like it's ridiculous. So after that, the ladies are getting ready to meet with the lady who's doing the sound bath. They're all strategically placed next to the person that they have a problem with. So we had Angel and Kiara sitting next to each other, and the problem was the chin check thing, which I'm sure we're going to hear about again because that's why Bravo does this. We also had Stacy sitting in between Kiara and Ashley, issues with Ashley, stemming from this whole divorce and the breath thing and everything. And then we also had Wendy. She wasn't necessarily sitting next to Kiara, but they brought up that issue. So these are probably issues that they're going to bring up later on in the season. But it was Tia for me. Tia said, I don't understand this. I don't get it. And when she was in her confessional and wobbling that eye, I was hollering at that. I said, this lady is going to be my favorite housewife. Watch what I tell y'all, because she is kooky, but I love it. I'm here for it. And that was pretty much it. Stacey had them doing some exercise. It was weird. They all passed around a crystal and started talking about friendship and everything. And it was okay. Mrs. Best, is there anything else you want to add on that scene?
No.
All right. So we're going to move on to the last scene and the most irritating scene of the whole episode. So Giselle goes over to that restaurant that Karen loves. I think it's called Tallyho's, yeah. Where the Karen special exists. And Giselle says she comes there often and orders the Karen special. And I'm just like, okay. Kiana comes, Ashley comes, and then here comes Cookie. And once Cookie comes, Ashley is immediately kind of shading her. Like she goes, whoa, look at all the titties. Like, wow, the three of you are here. And when Cookie goes and sits next to her, she goes, yeah, I was talking about your titties. And when Cookie sits down, she said, yeah, these was the titty Wendy tried to get, but she couldn't. And I said, Cookie, we're not finna start this. I don't know you. I don't care for you. I'm not finna start this. We're not finna start this on the show, Cookie. You will not come for Wendy like this. Wendy ain't did nothing to you, and least not that I know of. Y'all chime in if y'all know if Wendy's ever did something to Cookie for her to throw that shade like that. Did she do something to Cookie that I don't know about?
Cookie is here to do Karen's messy shade, but Cookie is doing it in the same way Karen did, away from the person she's throwing the shade at and or in a confessional. So Cookie, and cover them nasty things up. Fix it. Because the only reason you would keep that is if you feel like it actually gives you some sex appeal. It looked like you need a breast reduction and a prayer.
Okay, because you can't tell me her back wasn't hurting that moment she sat down. I'm just saying. Some things you should just keep to yourself, Cookie. That was one of them. We don't need to, go in there. So Cookie's apparently the plug for the ladies to get updates on Karen. Where is she? Is she in prison? Is she getting out early? What's going on? All this and that. Cookie answers the question. She says she talks to Ray all the time, every day. She says she has spoken to Karen. Karen asks about the girls and everything, and she gives them all the information. And so Ashley says out of her mouth that Stacy is trying to hook up with Chris Samuels. And Cookie look at her, she goes, I know you lying. He shouldn't want her in the house, that old hot breath. And I said, Cookie, here you go again. What did Stacy do to you? So, and here's the thing with Stacy that makes me kind of different from Wendy. I can almost see at this point in time, because someone had to remind us on one Instagram post that Stacy did fall out with the lady who made their dresses and Karen all at the same time. So it could be like a double dip of them coming to Cookie with that information about Stacy and everything. So I can somewhat see why she would say that about Stacy, but Wendy, no, you just hating at the end of the day. But I didn't like it. I don't like, as I said, I hope this is the only scene we see of Cookie. I don't want to see Cookie no more after this.
I think they're going to keep bringing Cookie back. Cookie just needs to realize that she's not in the biggest position to speak about anything. That's what she needs to realize. Because let's keep it a buck. The lady looked like she smells like cheap perfume, likely Juicy Couture.
Or White
She looked
Diamond.
like she smelled like cheap perfume mixed with an old cigarette that was not ashed properly and pro style hair glue. Cookie need to be quiet. She need to leave everybody alone because the moment anybody says anything to Cookie, I don't feel like she'll be able to handle it. I just don't. And there is so much that we could say about her. We don't know you. We just got here and you're just Karen's friend. You are not the grand dame. It's weird to me, but it's starting to make sense that Cookie is likely responsible for all the shit that came out about this season prior to it airing. Everything we was concerned about, she's all connected to in some way. It just looks like Ashley, Cookie, and Giselle are up to no good. And that tells me that Karen be doing this shit too when she's free.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the part that I don't like. Because Karen be trying to act innocent and wise, but she clearly be with the shit because everybody knows her friend so well.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I 100% agree with that. When I tell you, not only was it messy, but it was just so tasteless. It was like, okay, why are you coming after these girls? We don't know you. We know you as Karen's friend. We've seen you a few times along with the other lady who was on first season. I can't even think of her name. But yeah.
Now, when Stacy and them see this, if I was
Hmm.
Stacy and Wendy, I would ask Cookie, you seem to be real concerned about me, but you wasn't too concerned with getting your friend to rehab or getting her an Uber.
I'm just saying.
There's so much people could say to her. I'd be questioning her. Do you drink as much as your friend? While you worried about everybody else with them nasty things on your chest. I cannot.
Yeah, I'm just like, Cookie gives nice, nasty vibes. I caught she spoke negative about Wendy. She has. And in today's time, she was under NECA's post, going in on her more. And I'm just like, see, this is what's going to make me, really not. When we get to October month on this show, this is going to really make me go in on Cookie. And I don't want to because Cookie, like she's somebody grandmama. I don't want to go in on Cookie, but I will. Now it makes sense why Karen shaded Wendy in the previous reunion. You know what? Honestly, I need Karen to make sense of that because I don't get it. I don't think that there's anything that I saw Wendy do that warranted Karen to shade her. Now, I could be wrong because I don't really remember Potomac like I remember Atlanta or Salt Lake City. So I could be wrong in the essence of maybe I missed something. But to my knowledge and my recollection, I don't remember Wendy doing anything to Karen for Karen to shade her and for Cookie to bring her ass out here and shade her as well. So, yeah, we'll see. But that was the episode, y'all. Next week, looks like Monique Samuels will make her way back onto our screens. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I am not here for it because it looks like we're gonna be talking about some old shit that shouldn't matter. Monique, you're not married to this man no more, so who gives a fuck if he was talking to Stacy? Because I sure the fuck don't, and I will not give a fuck when the episode airs. Because if Stacy was talking to Chris Samuels, I'm not gonna care. I'm just not.
It's just
So
another person coming on the show who is not an actual cast member of the show, providing a storyline for the show because the main cast members of the show have no storyline. Get rid of
boom,
Ashley and Giselle.
boom,
Because
that
I
part.
don't care about Chris Samuels worth a damn. I don't care for him on the show. I don't care for him off of it. And they're
Right.
divorced.
And they're
They're
divorced. So who the fuck
divorced.
cares? And her and Stacy are not friends. So why the hell does that matter?
And
That's why I'm
Monique is
just
full of shit. You went on this campaign making it seem like Bravo was a problem and they were toxic. And you were going to go to OWN and it was going to be better. Then you went on OWN, Love and Marriage DC, and then they was toxic and they was the problem and they was all an issue. Everywhere Monique go, she has a problem. So
hmm
yes, in the situation with her and Candace, we can have our opinions on that situation independently. But as it relates to just how she is and reality TV, personally, I'm not excited for Monique to come back.
me either.
This the same network you claim caused you so much harm, but now you're single, you don't have Chris's money, and you need a check, so you're coming back here because OWN won't mess with you.
Kevin Reynolds said this also confirms why I never saw it for Karen with her pseudo pretentious ass. I'm starting not to see it for Karen. Like I'm starting not to. I mean, Karen is the only comedic factor on the show. Like Karen kept the show alive. Like she really did. Her and Candace. I'm not going to give Karen all the credit. Candace too. Candace was another factor that kept the show alive because Candace's reads were lethal as hell, and they were so well versed, so articulate that I was offended. She wasn't even talking to me. So yes, if Stacy was talking to Chris, what's the big deal? Stacy and Monique not friends. Chris was not married at the time. They're not fucking now. What's the big deal? Even if they were fucking then, it's not a big deal. That's nobody's business but Stacy's and Chris Samuels and Monique.
Stacey don't owe nothing to Chris, and Chris don't owe nothing. Stacey owes nothing to Monique. Chris owes nothing to Monique other than to make her aware when he gets a serious partner, obviously, because they're co-parenting. But this is not the storyline that Bravo thought it would be. This is not the way I wanted Monique to come back.
Me either, because I felt like if she was coming back, it was to read Giselle for fucking filth for setting her up on Candace. And of course, Robin's missing in action because Robin has a part in that too. We saw Robin's hand push Monique. So yeah. But yeah, I'm not gonna be happy when Monique come back, y'all. Especially if this is the element of she's coming back. I'm not gonna be happy, and I'm probably gonna go off, and that's gonna be a long video. So I'm gonna prepare everybody for it now. Be expected to be on Watch Your Mouth reviews for about a good hour and 30 because I know I'm going to go in, and I know it's not gonna be nice. So yes. Now, if Chris got together with Charisse, that would be a new. Ugh.
As
Shay,
long
why
as Charisse is in that same wig, you guys, I don't think she'll find anything anytime soon.
I don't even hearing Charisse and the word hookup. All I'm thinking about is how she stayed married to that man all them damn years for them to stay married for a good decade and not be together.
Charisse gives me like Whitney Houston. Like if she's gonna get into another relationship, it just gives me that would be like some sort of like
Mm.
tragic story. I just cannot with Charisse.
No, Charisse gives me that mean ass black advisor that you have at colleges that always tell you you're stupid for making the decisions that you make. And yeah, there's always an advisor at a college that has Charisse's disposition.
Damn, what colleges you went to? Hell.
Come to Phoenix. You trust me, I'll point them out to you.
See, that's crazy. I do notice that though. I was going to a school that is
Mhm.
in Phoenix online. I switched back to the school I got my bachelor's because they acted oddly.
Yes, I'm telling you. So when y'all come to y'all listen, don't take my word for it. Go over to ASU and go to those community colleges, and you'll see there's a black lady with a disposition just like Charisse telling you stupid for the decisions that you make for college. She there, I promise you. Mean as hell. Disposition is crazy. And then wonder why she alone. But that's not my business. Who cares? But anyways, y'all, that's it. That's all I have for y'all today. This is a good show. We stay here a lot longer than I want to, but that's okay. This is Real Housewives of Potomac. I don't expect high viewership from this video. Anyway, it would be nice for y'all to like, comment, subscribe, all of that. Share the video. We had a good time here. I will see all of y'all next week for when Monique makes her return. But my next video, y'all, is going to be Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. That is going to be, I believe, on Thursday. So with that, Kevin Rose, I am signing. I am signing out. I am signing out. Thank you guys so much for being here. I appreciate y'all, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye now.